Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. Various suggestions have been made by scholars respecting the import of this prophecy by the Master. Some guessed that the sign would be a cross in the sky. Others thought that it would be Christ himself, who would appear in some wrathful form to humanity, causing fear and dismay. We cannot say that the sign of the Son of Man in heaven will be his parousia. On the contrary, the parousia of Christ will not be known to the tribes or families of the earth in general, but will be known only to the most saintly ones of the Church of Christ. Consequently, the sign of the Son of Man must in some sense stand related to his epiphania, or shining forth in the flaming fire of judgment, which the whole world of mankind will recognize. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 7 through 9. The word sign is of broad meaning. For instance, crape is a sign of mourning. The cross represents Christianity, the crescent another form of religion. In other words, a sign is merely an indication. So when we read of the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, the thought might properly be that something will occur indicative of the presence of the Son of Man, that he has taken to himself his great power and has begun his reign. Since the Son of Man is to be revealed in flaming fire, taking vengeance, it follows that this sign must be some sign of vengeance, some indication of righteous indignation against wrong. Isaiah chapter 59, verses 17 and 18. The question then arises, how would such a sign or indication appear in the sky in the heavens? We reply that this is not the thought. On the contrary, let us remember that the Bible repeatedly uses the words heaven, mountain, sea in a symbolical manner, the earth representing organized society, the mountains representing kingdoms, as the backbones of this organized society, the seas representing the restless masses of humanity, continually seeking to swallow up the social earth. In the same symbolic terms, the heavens represent the ecclesiastical powers of the world, churchianity. The sign appearing in the heavens signifies that the beginning of Christ's judgment will fall upon the ecclesiastical systems of our day. The flaming fire of judgments will first manifest itself in ecclesiastical affairs and circles. Mankind will gradually become awakened to the thought that a new government is in control, and that its policy will be the law of judgment to the line and righteousness to the plummet. Since unrighteousness is prevalent as a result of man's fallen condition, the conscience of the whole world will be awakened, quickened, and fear, dread will come upon all classes everywhere. This will be not only because they will see the primary sign of Christ's righteous judgments in religious circles, but because they will see him coming, drawing nearer and nearer in judgment, and they will recognize that they too must shortly be involved. Hence there will be mourning because of him. Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. Furthermore, it will be remembered that all the families of the earth have very crude and incorrect views of Messiah and of the object of his second coming and kingdom. The doctrines of devils brought into the church creeds during the Dark Ages have so made void the Word of God that the majority of mankind fear the Almighty, dread him as their almighty foe, instead of realizing him to be the God of all grace and the Father of all mercies, from whom cometh every good and perfect gift. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, James chapter 1, verse 17. The eyes of the world have been blinded to the goodness of God. Terrible dread in the hearts of humanity will lead to the wail of fear as they perceive Christ's righteous judgments encircling all the earth, the signs and groaning promised to precede a second birth. Not knowing of a second birth and all the glorious blessings which Messiah's kingdom is designed to bring to mankind, human hearts will be filled with dread and apprehension. Only those who are truly the Lord's and are rightly informed respecting the divine plan of the ages will be able to lift up their heads and rejoice, knowing that their deliverance draweth nigh. Luke chapter 21, verse 28. St. Peter apparently described this sign of the Son of Man in the heavens, revealed in flaming fire. His words are, "The heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the earth also shall take fire, and the works that are therein shall be burned up." 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 12. Let us not make the mistake of our forefathers in supposing that these descriptions mean a literal burning of the literal earth. Let us, on the contrary, realize that the symbolical earth and the symbolical heavens are to catch fire and pass away with a great commotion, while the physical earth will remain practically as it is, and will begin to undergo the transforming influences of restitution under the new King, the Restorer of all things, the Christ. It will be noticed that St. Peter mentions the fire as coming to the heavens before it reaches the earth, in just the same order that Jesus stated the matter. The sign, manifestation of the flaming fire of judgments, will appear in the heavens, and subsequently the sign of the Son of Man in judgment will be seen coming nearer and nearer to earth's affairs with a view to purging them absolutely from everything sinful, selfish, unjust. We are told that the elements will melt with fervent heat. We see the capitalistic element and the labor element separating the one from the other. We see the preparations for the great conflagration, the great time of trouble. We sometimes speak of it in this language, saying, "Things are getting very hot." They will presently be so hot that spontaneous combustion will set in, and the fire of that day will be so extreme and its results so drastic as to fulfill the Master's words that unless those days should be shortened, no flesh could survive. But because of the elect, because of the kingdom which will then be set up, those days will be shortened, brought to an end. Nothing will be destroyed except that which is injurious. The worldwide results of that flaming fire of divine judgments will be corrective, preparing men's hearts for the blessings which the Lord is prepared then to give. Thus it is written, "When the judgments of the Lord are abroad in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness." Isaiah chapter 26, verse 9. It will be noted that St. Peter, in speaking of that time of trouble, mentions that the heavens, ecclesiasticism, will be on fire first, and that later the earth, society, and its political, financial, and social organizations will be involved also. In harmony with this, our text tells that this sign or indication for the revealing of Messiah in flaming fire will first be in the church. Furthermore, according to St. Peter's statement, we are to expect that ecclesiastical heavens will pass away with a great noise, a great commotion, before the social order is fully reached by the consuming fire. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10.